No, I'm not a writer.
Okay.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Fit Business. I'm Matt Weik here with Jimmy Mentis. Today's topic, we're going to switch things up. We did a few fitness type topics. Now we're going to switch gears, go more towards business. Jimmy, why don't you kick it off with your idea?
You know, I've met so many entrepreneurs. I've met very successful, people, businessmen as well, corporate, all that kind of. But the one thing I want to talk about, and I don't know how everybody feels, I don't even know how you feel about this, is the killer instinct in business. Is it right? Do you have to have the killer instinct in business? What is the killer instinct in business? Because I think we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, and you said, well, you have to have the killer instinct in business. What is killer instinct in business for you?
For me, when I think of killer instinct, it is going out and actually producing every day, regardless of who's in your space. Like, you want the business. You want to earn the business of everyone. Like, you can't be complacent and sit back and just hope that your phone is going to ring and be like, hey, I want to do business with you, Jimmy. Like, it doesn't work that way. Like, you need to go out and make things happen. So for me, the killer instinct is I'm going to go out and I'm going to show all the people, all of my prospects, all the people that I'm trying to pitch exactly why they need my service, my product, etc. I don't have the mentality of, and when I say killer instinct, it's probably going to be different than what other people would think, because I'm not looking to kill people's livelihood. But at the same time, I'm definitely going to come for people's business. But at the end of the day, I don't want to see people struggling in the sense of, hey, Jimmy, I'm going to create a line of products to compete with all of yours because I want to put you out of business and I want to see you, hit rock bottom. And I think it's a personality trait too.
Yeah, but I this to me is a great topic, and I know a lot of people have different opinions. Okay, killer instinct to me, when someone tells me I have the killer instinct in business, I translate that into, I wake up every morning. Okay, this is what they're thinking. I wake up every morning and I'm going after let's say we have a product, right? I'm going after every freaking shelf there is, and I don't care who's on it. Okay, I'm not saying it's a bad approach. Is it the right approach? And how many people have that approach? Like, I wake up and in my younger years, I woke up to create something to be the best. Okay. And I can go as far back as 3 brands, but I'm going to keep it fresh as possible. BeautyFit. We all know I was the first women's line I create the category. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, right?
Right.
Okay. I didn't wake up every morning with the killer instinct. I woke up every morning to conquer this category and to be the only person in this category. Other companies created women's brands to compete with me. Now, did they create these brands to compete with me? Did they wake up with a killer instinct, or did they want a piece? See what I'm saying? Or did they want a piece of the market that I created, or that was there, that I had 100%? Once there were competitors in my space, I got that killer instinct. Well, I literally got that killer instinct, and I never thought that I would wake up and say, that's my shelf. You're going home today. Because I learned I learned the hard way. When I first came out with BeautyFit, other brands kicked me off the shelf. Some other brands kicked me off the shelf. They gave better prices. Whatever they did, they did. I wasn't mad, but I toughened up. Because if it's me putting food on the table, feeding my family to someone else, it's going to be about me first. And I realized that the way I used to think, hardly anybody thinks like that. It's dog eat dog out there. So is the killer instinct a attitude for success? I don't know if it is.
I think it almost has to be, because I think if you don't have, like, for the killer instinct, it's the want to go out and like you said, conquer something. But at the same time, if you don't have that mentality, that's when complacency kind of creeps in, because you're like, it's okay, I have enough product on the shelf. Okay, so I lost one SKU here, no big deal. But it's like you said, if I have a full row of my products on a shelf, I'm going to fight to keep that space.
Right,
I'm going to do whatever I have to.
The fighter instinct, what I want to get to, and the point I want to come across and see what everybody else says is that fighter instinct geared towards a specific company, brand, or because you could be aggressive in your business, right? But right. do other guys wake up and say, I'm going after that brand? Whatever that brand has, I'm going after that brand next. I'm going after that brand next. Or I'm going after all the brands. How many have you heard? How many people out there have you heard, there's enough money for all of us to go around?
There's actually a lot of people who have that mentality in our very space.
How do you feel about that?
For me, I don't want to see it that way. I mean, to me, that's an excuse to not go out and push harder. Like, you're taking the L and you're accepting defeat almost, because that's like saying, I didn't get that prospect, but you know what? There's enough money to go around. I didn't really need it. Like, if you have bills to pay, if you have a family, you have what type of expenses, either it's going to be your money, it's going to be somebody else's money. And I can't remember which. I think it's Grant Cardone always talks about having the mentality of who's got my money, and it's always, I'm going to go out and I'm going to take, for him specifically, a real estate deal away from somebody. I'm going to go out and I'm going to take a sales course away from somebody. I'm going to be the leader in this category. I'm going to be the leader in real estate. This, that. Like, that's like a killer instinct. Like, I want it all. I want it all right now. And I'm going to work hard till I get to it, whatever the case may be. I hate when people are like, oh, there's enough money to go around. It's okay.
That's, to me, when someone says there's enough money to go around, you're going to be eaten up. You're going to be eaten alive. I wake up every freaking morning and say, I'm going to get this accomplished, and I don't care who's in front of me. But I do the right thing. I try not to step on people's throats. I've stepped on people's throats before after they stepped on mine. And when people turn around and tell me, Jimmy, I'm sorry, it's business. See, it's okay when other people, tell you, Jimmy, I'm sorry, it's just strictly business. And then when the shoe's on the other foot, you turn around, and you say, sorry, man, strictly business. They get all bent out of shape.
Yeah, I thought we were buds. Why'd you do that to me?
Right. Right. Okay. So that's where I how many, what is a killer instinct? Like Grant, right? Wakes up, I'm going to take someone's business away. I can't fault him for that. It's dog eat dog out there. And when someone looks at me or comes into this office and says, hey, man, you got a great business, and they're looking around, and they're in the supplement business, I know their shit is looking at my shit.
Yeah.
There is no way around that. So when you have, let's stick in our industry, right? Supplement business. We're all friends.
Right.
Don't tell me when we're all hanging out and this and that, no one else is looking at their other business plan or model or saying, hey, how did he get there? How did he do this? Because if someone else was in my position right now or had the opportunity to be in my position right now, they wouldn't say, nah, you know what, it's Jimbo. Nah, I'm not going to go there. You know what they're going to do? They're going to try to make a move, and then they're going to say, sorry, Jimbo, it's business.
Right.
But I learned the hard way. And that's where how can I say this? I want to know, am I the only person who uses these different, I have a killer instinct. I'm very aggressive, right? And I'm passive aggressive. Does that make sense? Like some days I do say, you know what? We had a good day today. And then the next day I wake up, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take everybody's shelf away. And then the next day, I do my thing. The one thing I stay consistent with, is I don't look at anybody else's ads. I don't look at anybody else's business marketing, because I kind of get influenced from it. And I get influenced in a bad way. I try to, because I think a little different. I'm not saying I'm special, but I think a little different. My marketing is way out there, and I reel myself in. And as you notice, in our space in the sports nutrition, everybody's looking the same. Everybody's just copying everybody, and they're just doing the thing. So, when you wake up in the morning after your 4 cups of coffee,
that's on a light day.
what do you? Because you have competition, correct?
I do, and it's funny because you and I spoke about this, before, especially before I started helping you with some of the content and the copy. People ask me all the time. Prospects will come to me and say, "Well, who else do you work with?" And I'll tell them, and they'll be like, "Well, who are your competitors?" And I know people that are in the space that are writers, but I don't know what they really do. It's not like I'm studying them, like what are their prices, what are they doing specifically, what is their business model. I don't focus on that, because to me personally, the more I focus on what they're doing, that's the less time that I spend focusing on growing my own business. So I don't put too much effort into what my competitors are doing. I've been lucky enough that I've been in the industry long enough that people know who I am. They know that, yes, I've worked in the supplement industry for a manufacturer, but I was also a writer during that time. And then that's when I left the supplement space, from a sales standpoint, and running part of their business to running my own business. And people are like, hey, you're no longer tied with that supplement company. Can you help me grow my business? So I've just kind of put my head down and just kept going with my own vision. Like, I try not to get sidetracked by what this writer is writing about or what this writer is doing. And I've been lucky enough that I haven't spent a penny on advertising. And I'm sure all of the, business owners that are, watching this, or they're in our Facebook group and communicate with us, they're like, what,
Right.
Why aren't you spending money on advertising? And it's something that, I have written down. I want to do it. I've just been, I guess you could say, blessed that I've had so many people come and fill my pipeline that I haven't needed it at this point. Right now I'm a team of 1, but when I wake up every morning, my mentality is, how can I produce the best content that is going to engage, a certain niche? Like I write stuff that is very broad to try and reach, the mass, but then I also go, very niche and try and get specific with, whether it's just talking about a protein powder or just talking about a certain supplement or an ingredient or whatever. But my whole thing is, and I want your opinion on this, all of these brands that are talking shit about other brands, is it necessary? Do you feel that it's in their best interest to try and bash a competitor? Like, that's, to me, that just seems very sleazy. Like, I shouldn't have to bash somebody's brand to help build my own. What are your thoughts?
Well, it's I got mixed. Listen, I'm personally, I never bashed anybody's brand. I understand the competitive side. I understand if someone comes out with a better product, or let's put it this way, nowadays a new and improved, because they're all the same, right? Mm-hmm. I think most people, when we hear other guys bash other brands, it's because there's a personal vendetta there. Okay, like Jack with Bang, man, they're all over him.
Oh yeah.
Jack is Jack. Jack's killing it. Doesn't matter what you think of him. I saw a video the other day. There's some guy doing a review on Bang, and you are, he's doing what, 500 million, and you think your video is going to do what? So again, did he have the killer instinct? The guy who did the video? I don't know who he was. The guy who did the video, did he have the killer instinct? What was his reason, behind that? What is, when they talk shit about other brands or other products, what is their reason? And that's what, that, to me, that's my question. I can't answer your question because I don't know. I mean, if I have a problem, and I've had problems with other brands, of course I have. Okay, it was always a personal vendetta. If I didn't like someone's brand, it's because I didn't like the person. Some brands I've seen, I love their packaging, I love their marketing, I just don't like the person.
Right.
So listen, if someone wants to find something wrong with a brand or a product, they'll find it. They'll find it. So it's a matter of, what do you like about the product? You can always find something wrong. And that's where, the killer instinct. I want to go back to that because I've been thinking about this. I mean, been traveling, a week now, 2 weeks now, and I've met a lot of great people and young kids, and they're like, hey, Jimmy, I want to do this, I want to do that. And there's one book I read. I think it was probably the only book I read in my life. It was by Damon John, The Power of Broke. Okay, and what a great book, because I've always thought my mental state every day I woke up was the power of broke, because it allowed me to be creative and not let money dictate how I can move forward with my brands. I always said to myself, let's say we didn't have any money, and my team too. What's our budget? 0. How do we move forward? And that's how you get creative. Because when there's money involved, you don't get that creative. There's no push. You don't get squeezed. Your brain doesn't get squeezed enough, and that's where you get complacent. And that's where people start throwing money to advertising, to writers, which obviously you don't mind, I mean, look, let's take you and me. We have a great business relationship. We have a great friendship. I squeeze my brain, don't I?
Oh yeah.
I don't say, dude, give me 20 articles.
Right.
Right. And you still chase me with the invoices. Right. But I'm always It's the power of broke. Hi. It's the power of broke. And it allows me, and I think, if there's one book out there that for business and just in general, if someone wants to, read and learn, it's that book. It's called The Power of Broke by Damon John. It is amazing. If you put yourself in that position, then you got the killer instinct. You're aggressive. You just go because you don't allow anything else to get in your way because you got no money.
So now what is your thought on the reasoning behind having that killer instinct? For instance, for me, my rates are really low for what I do. I do it not only because I want to help the customer, which most of them are personal friends of mine, but I also do it, especially on the content side of things, because I genuinely want to help people. So I think people that are coming out with, and I'm not going to say everybody, but I think a lot of the new companies that are coming out, they're not there to chase the people in terms of how can I influence your life? How can I impact your life? How can I make your life better, your health better, your fitness goals more attainable, whatever the case may be? I think they look at other brands like, again, let's just use you because it's just you and me talking here. So somebody comes out with a female friendly or, female specific brand. Are they going after that specific niche because they want to help women?
Oh,
or do they see that it's not as widespread in the industry yet, and they're chasing the dollars and not, I want to impact people?
I will guarantee you that when that happened 4 years ago, okay, they didn't care. They came after my business. And most of them are gone.
Right.
Because you know why I know they didn't care? Because they rewrapped their men's stuff into a different color and a different name. That's why. They didn't take the time out to formulate accordingly and market accordingly to create that emotional connection.
Mm-hmm.
They just threw it out there. They wanted a piece of my business. They didn't want a piece of the market. I had the whole market. They wanted a piece of my business. Like I said, it hurt me, but where are they now?
Well, that's the interesting part, because you're literally building a brand, and I don't want to make this about just your business, but we're on this topic, so using it as an example makes sense in this scenario. But you're building a brand around the female population, their lifestyle, their needs. So for instance, you have, a beauty bump product, which, you have a patent on that technology. You have, a scrub, you have a moisturizer and, a tanning lotion, combination. Yeah. You have all of these things, but you're not doing what you just said. So many people will take a pink label, they'll take creatine monohydrate, they'll toss it in a tub, wrap it in a pink label and say, female friendly creatine. Well, what the hell is a female friendly creatine? There's no such thing. Like, you're actually going deep into the specific needs of, the female body and what they specifically, need on a day-to-day basis and what they're looking for, versus taking something that's already out there and just wrapping it and calling it something that it's really not.
Right. And that goes back now. When they wanted to come after the market, they had that killer instinct. They literally had that killer instinct.
But for me, but they had a killer instinct, but it was for the wrong reason.
Right. That's why that's the whole reason why we're talking now. And I think the whole topic, the whole title of this, what are we? Are we a podcast? Are we a YouTube?
I don't even know.
What are we?
I've been telling everybody it's a show. It's a show. Like, it's not a podcast because it's technically not on like an iTunes or SoundCloud yet.
Soon
and we're gonna get there. Yes, very soon. And then I'm like, I don't want to just deem us as YouTubers, because then
Right.
people think that we just sit in front and like we take our video camera, we
Right.
vlog all day long. I'm like, I don't know. It's a fit business show.
So the perfect title for this show, I think, would be Killer Instinct. Is it good for business? Or something like that.
But that's
That's all I
not
got.
that's not clickbaity enough.
Matt, that's all I got. I just, I've been thinking about this, and I thought this topic was going to go for hours and hours and hours. And now that we're sitting talking about it, it's either you are like that or you're not like that. And if you're not like that, are you wrong? And if you are like that, are you right?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's
Like
only two sides to this. There's no like, maybe not. Like literally, you're either you have the killer instinct and this is what it means to you, or there's enough money to go around mentality,
Right.
and you're on the other side of the spectrum. So, I mean, I think the best thing to do is now let's open up to you guys who are listening. You know, what are your thoughts? If you're following us on our Facebook group, it's Fit Business Official. If you just type that in with Facebook, you'll find our page. But let us know either in the comments on YouTube. You know, if you're a business owner, you know, what's your mentality? Do you wake up with that killer mentality every day? And what does that mean to you? What does killer mentality, you know, what does that specifically? How would you define that for your specific case? Let us know down in the comments. Check us out over on Facebook, Fit Business Official. Follow our group. We try to invite as many of our friends as possible. But, you know, if you just stumbled upon this, thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you like it. We hope you subscribe. And definitely check us out over on Facebook. We put out tons of information. We have so many professionals over there. Everything from, you know, fitness competitors, professional, to IFBB pro bodybuilders. We have supplement retailers that are there. We have supplement manufacturers that are there. I mean, you name it, we have it over there. And we're very proud and very honored to have everybody be part of our group. So with that being said, anything left that you can think of, Jimmy?
No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm really interested to hear what everybody else has to say.
Then we'll close it on that. Take care, guys. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your week.
Peace.